Good morning, social media breakfast. We are here with you today to talk about building community. And I have two of my very, very good friends here with me, um, Alan Hennessy and D. Scott Smith. Guys, I am so excited to have you here. And they, by the way, jumped in at the last minute because we did have another speaker that had like some things that came up that were just, he couldn't come. And so they're basically going to be talking about the same thing we were going to talk about with him, but like about they built a community as well. So one of the cool things is that we'll talk about the global tea break. So let me just start with that really quick because the global tea break was something that Alan and D. Scott started like at the beginning of the pandemic era, right? And I'm going to let them talk about how they came up with it, but I'm going to tell you how I found it. I mean, I knew Alan well before all of this started. I met D. Scott through the tea break, but what happened was that Alan reached out to me and said they were doing this tea break, and I was like, "Oh, I want to come." But it's on a Friday morning, like we have this Friday morning. I said, "You cannot do it on the same day as social media breakfast." So that is my contribution to the global tea break. Okay. Anyway, so that's it. So you guys can come too, right? So let me just start by introducing both of you. I think that's important too. Alan he is the digital mentor. He is the co-founder of the Global Tea Break, and has years and years of digital marketing. We met long ago whenever I was doing Communities That Convert podcast. I think the podcasting, he's a big podcaster. And he's done, I don't know how many podcasts you run at one now, right?
I have a number of them.
Yeah, you kind of do. He's a big podcaster. And then D. Scott is a motivational listener, which I love that as a title. And he is at D. Scott Smooth, and he is the co-founder also of the Global Tea Break. He's a coach and a consultant. He's in Oregon, so he got up super early for us guys. So give him some love in the comments, please. Love in the comments. Oh, and Chris is here. I'm seeing who's here on the side. I'm catching up with who's. Other tea breakers are here supporting. We're in support. And so you've been doing coaching and consulting for a long time too. So I am going to shut up now, and I'm going to let you guys talk to me about how this came about. So you are in Oregon, and Alan is, in Scotland. How did this come about?
Well, honestly, it came about through Blab. So for those of you that remember Blab, 2015, 2016, short-lived social platform. It was a huge networking opportunity. I met Samantha Kelly through that. She was going to have the social media summit in Dublin, Ireland. I had the opportunity to speak there, and that gave me the chance to meet Alan Hennessy.
Yes, the days passed. Yeah, it was great.
Mm-hmm.
It was great, and I suppose where our relationship sort of started. We sort of kept online, and we kept in touch, and and I think it was February. I think I was sitting at home in the office. I had I had my office at home, and like that, I was working out of a small area, and I was sitting there on a Friday afternoon. I said to myself, I'd love to just have a chat with someone, not about business, not about anything, just basically just have a chat online. So like that, I put it out on Twitter, and Scott came back and he says, I happily jump on a call with you. And we jumped on and we started chatting, and we had a great conversation. And both of us, nearly at the same time, both of us said, we should open this up to other people. And then we decided, well, why not open it up to the world? And that's exactly how it started. We started pre-pandemic, so I think we were a month before, Scott, weren't we?
Yeah. It was
good timing.
I had missed Blab, and so in November of 2019, I thought, could I use Zoom as a networking opportunity? So in November of 2019, sent a link out. We did a networking event, and that was a lot of fun. Alan then says, let's do a tea break. So in February of 2020, a month before the world changed, we started the virtual global tea break. And oddly enough, so that was, now we're in our third year, because that was a while back.
Oh, that is true. Yeah.
The talk that I gave at the Social Media Summit in 2016 was called The Psychology and Physiology of Relationships. And I went and took the academic research and looked and said, well, proved that the relationships that we create digitally, and Cammie and I have never met face to face, the relationships that we create digitally can be just as strong as those that we create face to face. And in this worldwide laboratory over the last 2 years, that's been proven true. Because as Alan can tell you, there have been fabulous relationships created through the monthly tea break.
Yeah, relationships and business relationships too. So I mean, I put this in the promo, but I think, you know, I don't know how much money has been made amongst the members, but I would assume it's a lot. So
Yeah, it
thousands of
has.
dollars at least.
It has, and it really has, and
And
it's been
euros,
it's been great. It's been great because there's been so many different aspects of the tea break. Like the tea break came around because obviously I'm in Ireland and everyone has a coffee break, so we decided we drink a lot of tea in Ireland.
Yeah.
So that's sort of why we call it the tea break. But it sort of has, you know, it's something different and it's, you know, it's original. But like that, going back to your point, Cammie, there has been so much business that has been done within the tea break and so many great collaborations. And the beauty of it is, and I always say it is, you know, geography is history. We don't need to be in the same city, in the same office as each other. We can be anywhere in the world. And that's really the beauty of how the tea break has, you know, has flourished over the last number of years. And it's been great because we've met so many interesting people, like from literally from around the world, which has been a really has been an absolute delight to meet these people. And also it helps you to understand different cultures as well, which I've found incredible as well, which is another great part of networking, I suppose, at the end of the day, and building that community and understanding how people have these different types of relationships and how we can, you know, talk about different people's culture and how they react and how they integrate into different formats of business. So it's been quite insightful as much as anything else.
Yeah. So let's tell everybody a little bit about how the tea break works. And then we're going to come back to, after we get through this, we're going to come back to how you can apply this to your business and your work as well. So we're going to get applied, which we do here at Social Media Breakfast. But let's start with how it runs. Maybe D. Scott, you can kind of give me a full.
So we meet the third Friday of every month, and that was intentional because we love Cammie and we wanted Cammie to attend, and we made sure that we did not overlap. So 1 week from today will be the third Friday of April, and we meet for 90 minutes. We start off with introductions of the new people. So Alan will do a little interview of anyone that's never been to the tea break before. So you get to tell a little bit about yourself and your business. And then we have a 10-minute teaching time. So some member of the community will come and teach for 10 minutes. And this coming week, it's Matt Rouse. He's up in Nova Scotia, and he's going to be talking about Web3. So blockchain, cryptocurrencies, non-fungible tokens, NFTs. And so we're going to get a glimpse.
Are you guys going to get an NFT? Like a teacup. We need to do a teacup.
I know. Honestly, it is coming. Okay. And then we go into our breakout rooms. And now a lot of people have been using Zoom for networking and using breakout rooms. We keep ours to 3 to 4 people. We go 15 minutes. But the secret that we have is that, and I have not seen this in any other online networking, after the 15 minutes, we have one member of each of the breakout rooms report back to the whole group. So I might go, I was in the breakout room with Alan and Cammie, and here's what Cammie does, and it's Zoetica Media, and Alan's a digital mentor. And that is so powerful. And by the time that we have introduced the new people, had our teaching time, breakout rooms, and reports, we've pretty much run the 90 minutes.
Yeah, you guys, it's really good. I mean, I've, enjoyed being a part of the community. usually I'm running community, so I love that I can just show up to yours and be in the community. It's really nice.
And I want to say, Alan always gets the last word. And
Yeah.
we'll do that today, by the way, as well.
Alan is the best. So I put up the Global Tea Break URL on the screen so that you guys can go check it out. I definitely recommend it. I would love to see some of my community in the Global Tea Break. I think it would be really cool to have you there. I've had a few come in, but definitely would love to see you there too.
Yeah.
So.
And it's been great, and the great thing about it is that a lot of sort of communities, they're the paid subscriptions and stuff like that, and we purposely don't do that, and we don't believe in it. And the reason one of my big things with the Global Tea Break is has never been about Scott and Alan have just created this community and they are going to profit from it. It's never been that way. The whole ethos of the community is that it's free, but it's about building a community. It's literally is about building, and it's the relationships that build, and that is what makes it. And as I always say on the tea break, it's not ours, it's everybody's. So it's up to everyone to join in and collaborate and to share their information, share their stories, share all the good stuff that's going on. And that's the beauty of it. And I think that's why it has been such a success, because of that. Is people don't feel intimidated to, or oh, I have to pay, or what's the catch? There actually is no catch with it.
It's kind of like the social media breakfast of Houston.
Exactly. And that's exactly why, like I would follow this. Like I'm in here in Ireland, but I actually watch this every time it's on, because I make sure that it's something that I really enjoy, and I can really relate to people that are in it, and I can also learn as well. And that's another great aspect.
Yeah, you started showing up here like, I don't know, 5 years ago or something, right? So you are just so you guys know, Alan is part of our community. Even though it's like sometimes we're on this Zoom, we're not on Zoom, so we're not doing the way you guys are. Although, because of you, I did start a fourth Friday morning Zoom networking session. So you guys, if you have not been to the Social Media Breakfast Zoom networking session, we do a really cool networking session on the fourth Friday that's been going really well. I stole a few things from you. I did a few things different. One of the things I do for them is I put them into breakout rooms. Also, and they do if we're big, but we also have just all shared one tip around social media that we've learned. So that's been really good. The one tip has been really fun. Another idea. So
see,
you can steal from each other, right? So cool. So you guys have spent a lot of time on this. You're not like selling a bunch of stuff, but how has it benefited your businesses?
Yeah, as I said, there is no limit to what we can accomplish when we network the supercomputers between our ears, right? And just the opportunity to connect to people. Both Alan and I have had business opportunities that have come from this. Now, we didn't create it as a prospecting tool. It's just think about networking when we were in school and they said, or you're early in your career, and they're like, Cammie, you've got a network. In fact, you should learn to play golf because a lot of golf is transacted on the golf course. Well, there's nothing special or magical about a golf course. It's just people with a common interest spending time together. And when we created the tea break, now we didn't know there was no pandemic, right?
Yeah, right.
In February of 2020, the coronavirus, the novel coronavirus 19, whatever, was like fourth page news. There was something in China going on.
Yeah.
It was not an issue, but we created it, and then the world changed. And that March, that second tea break, it turned out, we needed each other more than ever. We just need support. We needed encouragement. We needed to hear that Alan was still alive, that Cammie's business was still getting prospects and clients.
Mhm.
And so when we had a common interest. When communities
True.
are built around a common interest or a shared hardship. In March of 2020, the world, for the first time in history, shared the same hardship, and we had a communication tool.
Oh, so true. I mean, what you're saying there is so, so important because I think it's not so that much that you needed like, a bunch of things. You just needed the support. You needed
Mhm.
like knowing that you weren't alone and like thinking through some of the problems that were coming up with other people. I just remember during that time and the different people in the group had different circumstances, like in countries that had like hard shutdowns versus like soft shutdowns. And it was really interesting to hear that and to support each other through that. I will just say that that was a really great, it was great timing.
Yeah, and like when you were saying there earlier on, what has it meant for us? I think it's given me so much satisfaction, and every time we look at it, as Scott always says, we look at our children, look at the way they've grown up and whatever, and it's like, but it really is
Our
sometimes
baby.
that's it's sometimes our babies, but like
Mhm.
at the same token, I suppose what it's given me personally is a lot of it's helped me build a lot of connections. It helped me build a huge amount of good
Mhm,
friendships and great friendships.
mhm,
And even as I said, like there has been business has come from it.
mhm,
But I think the biggest thing about it was we were able to help each other. And
mhm,
that for me, and then also for me to put it out there that I'm one of the co-founders of the Global Tea Break, because it
mhm.
automatically it people start going global. What's this? And all of a sudden, it's you get there's a bit of a kudos with it as well. But as I say to everyone in the community, you know, you can say, "Oh yeah, I'm a member of the Global Tea
Mhm,
Break," and
Mhm.
it helps them. And I've heard of like some of the members that have been at the tea break have actually used this when they're actually pitching businesses, and they go, "Oh," and it has given them a little extra edge. So that part of community and that part of that network and it's just it adds to your business acumen as much as anything else.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting what you say about it being around shared interests, and Sandra has this here, or shared hardships, and I do think that that is these common purposes. I think the shared hardships are maybe even more powerful than shared interest or common interest, because those shared hardships are something overcoming something is like what
Mm,
I think you guys are all about. Like, how do you know, overcome like not being known online? How do you overcome not understanding this topic or whatever? And so I do love how you've built it, and I've really been proud of you watching you. So I feel like I don't know why I feel like a mama about it, but I do a little bit.
Well,
well, yeah.
and this is the social media breakfast, and one of the things that we witnessed in social media was that in a way it distills down uh, attitudes and opinions that when you read those through the feed. And there were some very distinct, three very distinct attitudes that we saw during the pandemic, especially in the first year. And one of it was people who were looking for someone to blame. It was
Mm,
the government did too much, or they didn't do enough, or this
mhm,
person did too much or didn't do enough. There was a lot of looking for
mhm.
blame. The second one was the people who just fell into entertainment, and all of their posts were, uh, should I sign up for Disney Plus? Or, I mean, it was just like, what's the next thing I should binge?
Mhm.
The third
What's on
one,
Netflix? What are you watching?
exactly. Then the third one was the people who said, what do we do? How do we solve this?
Mhm,
How do we come together? And the tea break was just one example of how people, and as I said, the world wasn't going to emerge from the pandemic successfully because of a government program. It was going to emerge
mhm.
because of the small business owners, the entrepreneurs who were nimble enough and willing to find solutions and implement them.
Yeah. And like we talked earlier on about like the hardships that we all have gone through, and and we talk about the sense of community. that we've built. And like we've had, I always believe that, you know, networking shouldn't be about just business. It should be fun as much as anything else. But it also should be there, it should be also there as a support mechanism for others. And we've had a number of, you know, members and people that have been in the community that have gone through tough times over the last year, like, and you know, with their health and stuff like that. And they've been able to come in there, and it's a community that is there to help and there to support, and has been really, and people have been able to open up within that community and share their story, and you know, and look for that support and that guidance, and you know, even just you know, an arm, someone putting their arm around them virtually. And that's what that has, and that's where it has built up really, really strong relationships and strong friendships. And plus as well, along the way, we've had some good fun. And, you know, we've, like, we were there when sort of Clubhouse started, and we were sort of going, okay, what's this? And nobody sort of knew. And lucky enough, Jim Fuse, who's a good friend of all of ours, says, yeah, he was doing a lot of talking about it. So we said, Jim, would you do a little 15-minute, you know, educational piece on it? And he says, yeah, sure. And we all came in, and the next week we were all saying, okay, I'm going to use this Clubhouse. So it was great that way. So anything that's new that's happening, we're also looking at. We're looking at, you know, volley at the moment is something new.
Yeah, we're doing the volley. I'm on there, and
we're thinking about that.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Volley is interesting.
So,
why don't you tell them about volley? I'm just stopping you because I don't want to just walk past this volley.
So volley is a so for people who have used maybe Marco Polo, it's short video messages. And the one thing that I like about volley is you can use it on your phone, you can use Android, you can use Apple. There's also the desktop client, and so you can do messages. So text, video, audio, it's just a quick communication tool, but you can build up little groups within there. So we have a group for the tea break, so members in there can get together. And one of the benefits of having a community like this is you get to celebrate. So when you're working at home, and Alan and I were working at home well before the pandemic.
Same
and
here.
in a lot of ways, exactly, yeah. In a lot of ways, it just accelerated what was happening, so other people were able to join us. But when you're working at home and you have that success, when you launch that website or you sign that client deal, now what? You pet the dog,
the water cooler,
right?
Wow. I slack my tea at this point.
Yeah, you know, it's, you know, I can get into the tea break and I can just say, or I can send a message to Alan or one of the people in the community and just say, high fives, you know, Alan, congratulations, you just launched your program, or Cami, congratulations, you just had this, or you know, we have lived. I will tell you that in the last 2 years, the community in the Global Tea Break has lived a full life. We have had so much life. Children have been born. We've lost loved ones, but businesses have been launched, and friendships, and it is a beautiful world. And as I often say, this is absolutely the best time ever to be alive because of what we're doing right now.
Yeah, it's become more like, as much as we call it a community and a network and stuff like that, it's now become sort of a family, because as Scott says, you know, we've had loved ones who've passed on, or we've had children that have been born. Like, we have one particular member of the tea break, Stephen, and he every month he brings his son Noah in, and his son Noah is only, I think he's 1 or 2.
That's my favorite member of the tea break.
Yes. And it's like our youngest member, we can honestly say that. And he always comes in and says hello and stuff like that, you know. And that's what it's about. It's not just about all of us sitting there, stuffy face, going, well, what did you do this month? And it's okay.
We
So
have
Noah's
fun
comes
together. I
in.
mean, it's like I should have put this up earlier, but Chris says, "Hi, Chris." By the way, he says I've had supercomputer between the years. Mine's more like a Commodore. Dude, who remembers Commodore 64s?
I do.
But I'm just saying we have a lot of fun. So I think that's really important too, is that it's just
Mhm.
having that kind of fun and excitement. And of course, it's a small business, a community. So we've come together that way. I want to kind of move to this too. Like, so for people that are thinking about starting a community or like, or being a part of one is one thing, but starting one is something else. So can you give us a few of the tips and maybe some of the pitfalls even that you've had as you've built this community?
Well, I think that building the community, you got to be building. If you're going to build a community, you need to build it with purpose, and you need to build it with an idea in your head or a strategy behind it that you're going to say, okay, well, what is this going to how is this going to benefit me or the people that are going to come to it, and understand that it's more about you know helping as opposed
Mhm.
to pushing. I think that's very important, but I think it's about also just that understanding that you want to be part of a community. You don't
Mhm.
okay, there has to be leaders in every community. There has to be someone to take the reins and stuff like that. But I think that's where the big benefits were is that myself and Scott sort of sat down and said, okay, well, what else can we do with this community? How can we develop this into something that's bigger? And we started off, as we said, with just the Zoom call, a monthly,
Yeah.
two of us chatting. Then we decided, okay, well, we need to have a website where we can store information, where we can share information.
Mm.
Then we've moved into doing a few live shows as well, webinars. So it's constantly growing and it's constantly developing. And I think that's the key to it. But I suppose that the nuts and bolts of this would be is that you've got to sort of say to yourself,
The website.
what do we want to achieve?
Mhm.
And that's really what it is, that where I would say some of the pitfalls. Scott, I don't know if you want to talk about some of them. I'll leave you with the hard piece.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. I'll give you the last word on that bit.
So the number 1440, hopefully that means something to people. That is the number of minutes in every day. And it turns out there are no rollover minutes. So if you don't use all 1440 today, well, you will, because there's not 1450 tomorrow. So every time you take something on, like building a community, that means there's something else that you're not going to be doing during that time. So it really comes down to, what are your priorities? And if you if you audit your calendar and decide, what are the things that I'm doing that really aren't optimizing, that aren't moving me toward my goals? But if building a community is one of those, or being a part of a community, then get rid of those things that aren't as important and replace them. That really is the key. It's just, you have to make priorities.
Yeah, I think that's really important you say that. For example, I mean, I'm not bragging about this, but I don't watch too much television at all.
Mhm.
I like television. I enjoy it when I do. I get really invested in like programs if I start to watch them. Like I definitely would be one of those bingers, like that would binge
Mm.
from the beginning to the end of a series. And so I've chosen just not to do it at all during the pandemic. And I built like a course, a membership. We've, strengthened our stuff on social media breakfast. We've made it much more global, thanks to people like you. This is the second time Alan's been here, by the way. People noticed that, by the way, and they said, "Welcome back." So
I
you are
know.
here. So yeah, I just feel like, you have to, and people say, "How do you get it all done?" And you don't. That's how.
Mm.
Something has to give, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you have to, as Scott has said, you have to prioritize. You have to say, okay, well, which is more important? What is more important to me? And I think, and that's a big thing, but yet again, you don't, as you said, Cammy, you don't get everything done. But
Mhm.
you know, as I always say, tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow
Mhm.
is another day. And when tomorrow comes, we will, you know, get more done, and we will get there, and we'll eventually get there. And look, at the end of the day, if you don't, you don't. There's no
So
point in,
I mean, what
you
are you
know,
gonna do about it, right? So,
there's actually no point in worrying about it, you know, and I think that's the key to it. A lot of people keep pushing for, you know, I always say there's
mhm,
no such thing as perfection, because when you think it's perfect, you say, oh, well, it could be a little bit more. So you just got to
mhm.
get on and do it and say, yeah, and
Mhm.
learn as you go. And, you know, I think that's the key important part of this as much as anything else.
Yeah, and so this is the social media breakfast. So this is my next question. So how have you used social media to effectively build the global tea break?
I'm going to leave that to the digital mentor
Yeah,
because
the digital mentor, it's
because
probably a question for him. Maybe.
these the images and the promotions,
Mhm.
that is all Mr. Hennessy.
I'm actually so much so that I'm going to move him to the left and put him like in the
Let's do
driver's
it.
seat position. Okay, so here we
Okay.
go. He's going to be
No,
on
I,
top.
yeah, well, like what the way I think the way with social media is this, you know, as we've talked about this before. Social
Mhm,
media is a tool and we have to use it, and but we also have to be social. But I think we branded it. We came up with the branding colors, and then we started to promote it across, obviously, you know, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and
mhm,
LinkedIn. And especially with this community, we were sort of looking and saying, well, let's make it a little bit different. So we actually built a LinkedIn group, which we've used to sort of to publicize a lot of the information that we will put out. And the idea behind it is if you join the Global Tea Break, you just have to, you know, apply to be a member of
mhm,
the actual LinkedIn group, and it doesn't cost anything. It's free. It's just that you have to, you know, put yourself forward and whatever. And then we've also used, you know, social media to promote the events that are coming up. We might, you know, will if we have a teaching session,
mhm,
we'll take snippets from that and we'll use the sound bites and we will put them out on social media. And that has created a lot of interest, and it has created a lot of you know, people are starting to say, oh, well, what's this global tea break? And we're guiding them to the website, and, you know, we're
mhm,
using that as a sort of a tool to get them to where we want them to go. And like, as you can see on the website, like there's the tea break dates are there. We've also got, you know, the community, who's in the community. We've also got, you know, the educational pieces, and we've recently introduced the guest blogs and stuff like that. So if you have a particular blog and you're part of the community, please, you know, don't hesitate to, you know, let us know, send it to us, and we'll put it up on the website. And like that, we will then promote that through social media, because that's the whole point of being able to say, okay, here we go. There's more pieces here. There's more information here, and it's about building that up. And we've launched the YouTube channel and all that. So we're trying to, I suppose, capitalize across so many of the different areas and the different social platforms and build
mhm.
on that. We've yet to do TikTok. I'm starting to use a little bit of TikTok.
I love TikTok. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I've started only this week, sort of putting out stuff. I've been sort of thinking of strategies of how I can use it, and I'm going, okay, yeah, well, we can use this as well. So
I
that's
Mhm.
saw you
another.
on TikTok the other day. You were like,
Yeah,
I'm the digital mentor. And I was like,
yeah.
oh, I was on TikTok.
Yeah.
Now, one of
Well,
the
and hold on just quickly before we
yes,
go any
yes,
further.
yes.
The digital mentor was I had someone help me come up with that name, and she's right there in the middle. We
Mhm.
had I think it was about 3 or 4 hour conversation one night, and we were brainstorming ideas, and the digital mentor came out of it. So, you know, full credit is Cami Heiser. She's one of my go-to people when I want to go. I need a little bit of brainstorming. So there you
Well,
go.
thank you. I enjoy talking to you. So it's been fun. We've grown a really nice friendship over the years. I really
We
enjoy that.
have.
So, mhm. So yeah, I love it. So if you guys have questions for these guys, let me know. I've got a few more questions of my own, but I do want to open up the floor for people who might. Um, one of the things I wanted to talk about was nurturing members and sort of how you're nurturing your members, because you guys are really kind of good at this, I think. So could you talk about membership and how you're nurturing your members?
You know, it's we always talk about the magic happens when you meet between those third Fridays of the month, when you have those one-on-one conversations. And that's so important because it's not just about showing up to the tea break and maybe getting into a breakout room, but it's you find that person that maybe you have something in common with, you have something to share with, and do a video chat or a phone call or an email stream, whatever works to be able to connect with that person. And that's, as Alan says, that's where the magic happens.
I think that's really important too, because you get to know the people, like in the 4-hour conversation that I had with Alan the other day, right? So you, you know, in the middle of the night for him mostly, but hey, all good. But yeah, I do think that that's where you do get to know people, is whenever you take that time. And I think that a lot of times, this was something that early on in social media, you know, I've been around, I'm a grandma social media person. So I remember the first time, this is going to make me sound really old, but I had like a blog and nothing else, because there was, I think Twitter had just, it was just starting, and Facebook, you still had to have a college email address to get on it or something. And I still remember that one of the bloggers, because we all would go to each other's blogs and we would leave messages on each other's blogs, but one of the bloggers got all of our email addresses and did a reply to all email.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my gosh, we can talk to each other offline. I mean, seriously, I'm like, it was like really like a revolution to me. Like, oh, they're talking to each other behind the scenes. Like, and I meant they included me, which then I felt really honored. But I mean, the only reply to all email I've ever liked ever in my whole life. But it was,
I love that. I love that.
but it was interesting. And then it was just like, oh, you know, this is an actual bridge to build the relationship offline. And I guess sometimes it just takes you understanding. It's not about getting more people to follow you online. It's getting people that are connecting with you enough to interact with you offline, or you know, or on Zoom in this case, because we've in pandemic world that we're in. So yeah, I just feel like that was really something that was a revelation to me back then, and it still is really important. Like, everybody likes, how can you beat the algorithm? I can tell you, there's one way to beat the algorithm. It's called the human algorithm.
Yeah,
that's how you beat the algorithm.
Well, and that's really interesting because Alan, how much money have we spent on paid ads to promote the tea break? Exactly.
Zero.
And here's what is so fun is when you're having a conversation. So maybe you got introduced to someone, you met them at an event, online, in person, you're having a conversation, and you say, you know, a week from today, we're having the global tea break. It's at 9 Central Time. It's free. We've got people from the US, Canada, Ireland, UK, Germany, Italy, South Africa. You don't know where they're all. We're going to people have around the globe. And it would be great to have you join. You would fit right into that community. And all of a sudden, the next thing I know, Alan and I get a notification. There's been a new registration for the tea break.
Yeah. Yeah. I keep going, oh, look at that. Oh, there's another one. But like, I always
today you'll get some too. I mean, I'll put up the link again real quick. So guys, make sure you go and you sign up for the global tea break to get notifications, so that you can also come. I do want everybody here to come, although you know, it's definitely worth your time. I will give you that. Oh, we have a question from the house.
Hey,
Mr. Russedge.
Who's
That's my partner in the experience in our weekly in our talk show, The Experience, live with Russ and Scott.
Yes.
And that consistency, Alan, I'll let you address the consistency.
Yeah, and that's it's vitally important, and consistency is vitally important, and I think that's why we sort of put it to the third Friday of every month, because what's happened is that, like, even through rail, rain, or snow, we are there on that third Friday. Like next Friday is Good Friday, but we're still going to be there,
Good.
and
We'll
we
be
will.
good.
And I think that's the whole idea of that consistency. Is that people know, oh, it's the third Friday of the month. Oh, I have to go. Like I was on a call with Jim Fuse the other day, and I was saying goodbye to him, and he says, "Oh, sure, I'll see you next Friday." And I go, "Okay, yeah, yeah, the next Friday," because they know people, and that's consistent, and it has been for the last 3 years. It's the third Friday every month,
And
and that's where we go. And
I will tell you that I am deeply moved every month when people like Jim Fuse and Cami Hoysa show up to our tea party, because these people are immensely busy. And again, that whole 1440, there was something that Jim and that Cami and that all the people that join us in the tea break are not doing to do that, to be there. And I am, every month I am overwhelmed, and I know Alan feels the same. It's a highlight to be there, to be in that room, and to see our friends, and when they're popping in, and it's like, oh my gosh, there's Leo York. And does he have a big beard or no beard?
Yeah.
Because month to month, that guy can change.
Like we had Inga come in, and she was like, she's usually in Canada, and she was actually flying home to see her family, and they're in South Africa. And she says, "Oh, just popping in because I wanted to just say hello." You know what I mean? Like, and she's in South Africa. So this is what I'm saying. Like, it's that sense of consistency, as I suppose, that works. And because they know we're there, and we know that we're, and like, on a point that you made earlier on is like, and as Scott has said, it's the conversations that happen offline. And we will constantly say that throughout the networking meeting is that, when you finish here, don't just say, okay, see us all next month. It's like, okay, pick someone or pick one or two people here and organize a Zoom call, jump on the phone, have whatever form of communication that you're going to have, but have that face to face, have that meeting with them and chat with them, find out more, because you'd be amazed. Like, you have a very limited window of time on the tea break to talk to people. And sometimes you find out some amazing information. Like, I talked to a doctor from the tea break, and she just said, yeah, she's a voice coach and stuff like that. And I was going, okay, let's have a call. 2 hours, I think we were on a call, and we learned so much from each other from that. And I think that's the key to this is that community, but that consistency, having that consistency to be there and show up, and and have that chat and be in the community where people feel that they don't feel uncomfortable. They feel good. You know what I mean?
And Russ's comment here.
Yeah, I'm like, Russ is back with the questions. Yeah.
So this is the beautiful thing is that I don't know if it's a half or 2/3 of the regular attenders on the tea break have some sort of a show or program, whether it's live or recorded, like the podcasts or the live shows. And that is a great pool of people.
I'm not going to lie. I am looking
shows.
in there for guests. I am. I mean, and I brought quite a few of them here, just so you guys know. That's where I found some of them.
So people that have books that are looking to promote their book or their course, and they want to get into the podcast circuit, come to the tea break, because you will meet people who will welcome you and embrace you and introduce you to other folks. Alan has on his podcast, he has had some fabulous guests, and he has been able to make connections between people, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, Alan's a good connector. And P.S., if you get in a bind and your guest ghosts you on like 3 days before your big event, if you have relationships built, just saying, you can get people on pretty quickly. because everybody was shocked that you came. Like Devon is like, I'm just glad you had somebody in your back pocket. I'm like, well, and I thought that was interesting. Somebody in your back pocket.
You know, a friend of mine described a friend as this. It's 2:00 in the morning. You get a phone call and it says, Scott, this is Alan. I'm in Detroit. I need you to be here tomorrow morning. And you go, okay. And when Cammie reached out, I was like, okay. You know, 6:30 in the morning.
Each other. It's not like I called you out of the blue and I've never talked to you in the last month or two or whatever.
It's a friend. She's like, can you be in Detroit? And I'm like, sure. 6:30 in the morning on Pacific time. It is not, I will absolutely say, it is not an imposition for me to come and join. This is an honor and a privilege for me.
Totally. I would totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. Yeah. I think it's so important, like, you know, and I think that's as well support as much as anything else. But it's also, you know, as you said, you know, it's an honor to be here, and it's always great to. I always love doing live streams with Cammie anyway, so it's always good fun as much as anything else, and you know, it's about a shared knowledge and shared and helping, and as I said, you know, to be invited on to the social media breakfast of Houston is pretty cool. Pretty cool as well.
Thank you for coming. We love you in Houston. I can tell you that. So
I have to physically get there one of these days.
Oh, we'll have to figure that one out for sure. And maybe I want to come to Scotland. Are you kidding? Like,
not in. Why do you keep saying Scotland? I'm in Dublin. I'm in Ireland.
Why do I do that, Dublin? I don't know why I say that.
Although we have
then
friends,
again,
we have friends in Scotland too that have been a part of the tea break, and so you can travel the world. A week from today on Friday morning, travel the world.
Yeah,
join us, and this is one of the great things too. And this is there's a Scott Weaver had presented to the tea break. He was one of our teachers. And so he's in Franklin, Tennessee, and he was putting together kind of his one sheet type deal, right? To go out to clients. And Alan can help create those, by the way, for people. The one of the things that as we were talking about that, I go, oh, by the way, you have been a speaker on an international stage.
Oh, good point.
Right? I mean, and the moment that I realized that Alan and I had created an opportunity for people like Scott Weaver or Jim Fuse or Matt Rouse or Cammie Hoysa to come and to teach. You are teaching on an international platform, and there is no exaggeration in that. When you go and you tell people, look, I'm an international speaker. It does elevate you, and you are not exaggerating or stretching anything.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, I mean, I think that's really important to like know that you have that opportunity and those things that you can do if you have the relationships built that you can do that with. So that's the other thing, is that you can't just, you know, hope that that's going to happen. It's all about the networking and the community and stuff that you do over time. So, that is something I wanted to also bring up, is that, you know, if you guys are not on the social media breakfast list, I definitely want to make sure you get that too. So I'm going to pull up the, it's really easy. It's an easy URL. It's smbhou.com. And I actually have just finished, I'm very excited about this, our new hub. So we now have the social media breakfast hub, and the hub is at smbhou.com. And you can see it right here. I'll show you how it looks. It's very exciting. It looks like this. And the hub is got all of our information in it, including when we meet. And then you just subscribe right here. So just subscribe to get on the email so that you're notified of the upcoming networking meetings and everything else. And then underneath it, guess what we have, guys? We have all of the past episodes of the Social Media Breakfast of Houston, and they're searchable by keyword at the top. So all you have to do is search and you can find anything. So you can put like Alan in here from Dublin, because I'm a terrible geography person. Like geography is not, by the way, that was never my subject, just so you know. Oh yes, Alan. Well, that's Chuck. I don't know. Maybe I mentioned you, Alan. I don't know. You're in here, but there's all of these different things here, and you can just you can go all the way back to like the first episode that we did as a live stream of Social Media Breakfast, and see how terrible we were at live streaming back then. Super fun.
It is fun to watch the evolution.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, it goes all the way back. I mean, not all the way back to the beginning of Social Media Breakfast, but when we started live streaming. But you can see we've had all kinds of guests and people, so you can go back and get that information. So hopefully that helps everybody. Definitely sign up for smbhou.com. Go there and get on the email list. Read the blog. We have blogs that we put up on a pretty regular basis. Just, you know, the past episodes, we're a little behind right now, but we're catching up. Tracy's working on that feverishly as we speak. So yeah, I think that building community is really important. So I took a note from you guys and built a website. What do you think?
Cool.
I like it.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, that's fabulous.
Cool. And then one other thing, this is a announcement, and then we're going to talk just one more thing. I have one more question for you, but I definitely also want you guys to know that in 2 weeks, we're doing another kind of national thing here in this case, and actually international too, because there's some people from Canada, but some cities around the US and Canada have banded together to put together a free Con Nation conference. It is $47, so really cheap. It just pays for all of the tech and stuff that we had to put together for it. This is the website, and we have put together some actual live events here in Houston. So it is aimed at the freelancer, but it's the stuff we're talking about is like Instagram and how to use, how to set up a business. Should you do an LLC or an S Corp or whatever? So we're doing 2 of those on Monday and Tuesday, the 18th and 19th, 2 days, 1 half day of each. And those are going to be live events where we're going to get together and actually see each other in person. And we're going to meet at Impact Hub, which is downtown. And I am so excited about it because it's at the launch pad. I actually walked through there, guys, last week, and it is amazing in there, like beautiful. I'm going to put up some videos of it onto the Social Media Breakfast page and other places. I'm going to be sending out an email about FreeCon Nation probably on Sunday. So if you sign up on the SMBHOU email, you'll get more information about this. But it's $47. It's like you can't even get like a dinner for that, right? It's like cheap. And the cool thing is we get together in person, but we're also going to be live streaming. So we'll have the ability to watch them, in replay. And you get access to all of the national speakers too, that they're doing all week long. And there are some amazing speakers that are popping up. So definitely jump over to the website here, freeconnation.com/Houston, and check out what's going on with that. So those are my 2 announcements: new website and FreeCon Nation coming up in 2 weeks. And I hope to see some of you there in person because, oh gosh, do I miss seeing everybody in person. What about you guys?
Yeah, definitely.
So,
I'm dying. I can't wait to get back to a live event and just do it. Like,
yeah.
I'm teaching a course with a group. I think it's about 2 weeks time, and I'm so looking forward to just instead of doing it on Zoom, as much as we've been good
I
at
love
it,
Zoom.
but it's just being able to get in a room with people and talk to them, and I'm looking forward to that as well. Yeah,
I also
we do love social media, but as our friend Brian Fanzo says, social media turns handshakes into hugs. So when we can connect digitally. And then when you get that opportunity to meet, I guarantee you that when I go to Dublin, and we will be going to Dublin,
Sorry, I'm saying it over and over again. I don't know why I keep saying that. I don't know. I think of you in the kilt. I don't know why.
There's no way. Well, when we get there, there's no way that Alan and I are just going to handshake. Nice to meet you. Shake your hand, right?
Same.
I guarantee you we will embrace.
Yeah.
And
Same.
that is the beauty of what social media does, is it creates that opportunity to build the relationship
Mhm.
so that when you meet, you're going to take full advantage of every minute together.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, here's Grace, who's, by the way, Grace is here. Grace actually runs the Impact Hub in Houston, also building a community that is really powerful of startup entrepreneurs that are in the social good and, like, making the world a better place. I don't know.
Mm.
Grace is amazing like that. So I'm so excited for this event at Impact Hub. And don't you guys think that events are going to be hybrid? Like, don't you think hybrid events are sort of the wave of the future? What do you think
Mhm.
about that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm actually we're putting together a fundraiser for a nonprofit. So coming up on May 5th, we're actually doing a multi-site hybrid event. So we'll be broadcasting from
Yeah.
2 separate locations, and so we'll have an online component.
Mhm.
And so at venue A, when they're speaking, the people over at venue B and online will be watching
Oh, that's super
on
cool.
their screens, and then we'll switch it when the speaker is at venue B. Then A and the online folks will be watching. And
I'm starting to get ideas, right?
yeah, this is as far as I've seen, I know that for our area, this is the first multi-site hybrid event that
That's
has
so
been
cool.
created. But we're using that as an opportunity because uh, now people didn't have to travel as far, but they can
Mhm.
still get together face to face, and they can interact with the other folks. So
Mhm.
I'm really excited about producing that event.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. So, yeah, I think what Tracy says, hybrid is here to stay. I think it's a silver lining of the pandemic. I mean, it
Mhm.
is something that we could consider doing. Like, we could have like the Houston tea break and the Dublin, Ireland tea break and the Oregon tea break, and we could all get together like in person, but yet also same online, same time, same day.
Right.
I'm sorry,
Exactly.
my thoughts are coming together quickly.
Yeah, no,
That's good.
I
That's
totally
good.
agree. I've always sort of thought that and said, that could be a great idea. I definitely want to start up a, social media breakfast for
Mhm.
Dublin.
Well,
So I think that'd be great.
what's cool about like Impact Hub here in Houston that Grace runs is they have a conference room and it has one of those surround camera kind of things in it.
Mm.
And because I'm a member now, I can go in there with like, a couple of people, like 10 people or so, and we could actually be there like in one of your squares for tea break, like as just a group. That'd be interesting.
Mhm. I was just
Mm.
reading Grace's comment here too
Oh yeah.
about tech tips to enable people to have private conversations during the virtual group without having to
Ooh,
leave the shared group space. So there are some opportunities out
there's
there.
an
Of
app.
course, you can do breakout rooms. That's one thing. Another platform that we have used
Ooh,
with the tea break is AirMeet,
right.
and in that case, you can set up
I
tables.
spoke at that one.
You spoke at that one, and we
You
had
did.
and there are tables, so you can set up kind of a networking lounge, and you can have these tables, and you can decide how many seats are at each one. So
Mhm,
you could set up tables that had just 2 people, and
correct.
so people could go in there, and so Grace and I can have a conversation, or we could
Mhm,
have multiple seats at that table, and so Grace and I can come in with
mhm,
Russ and have a little conversation. So there are platforms out there
mhm.
that work really well for that
Yeah,
type of
and
event.
AirMeet also lets you have, like, you have your table conversation, and then you can have moments where it's like somebody's on the big screen over the
Mhm.
whole conversation.
Yeah.
And so
Mhm.
all the people at the tables can hear that speaker, that one person, and then they're in it's kind of like the same tactic as the breakout room, but it feels like you're in a bigger room.
Yeah.
Mm.
The problem with that was getting people to come on it.
Yeah.
Every platform has its challenges, right?
Yeah.
But just
Fear
like
of the unknown.
on or in-person events
Yeah.
have challenges because you're like, well, if I want to go for a 2-hour conference, it might take a whole day because of drive time
Mhm.
and so forth. So you're taking time off work, you're taking time away from your family. Uh, there's expenses if it's so. Anyway, every platform, in person, online, they're going to have challenges and benefits. It's one of the reasons why a hybrid is so powerful.
I agree. And I
Yeah.
also think simplicity is important too. So I love all these new apps. Like I was a early adopter. I don't know if you guys remember this, of Second Life, which was basically what people are doing now, but like 10, 15 years. I don't know. It's almost 12 or 15 years ago now. I can't remember exactly. But I used to hold global meetings like the social media breakfast in Second Life, and people would come just like you had from all over the world. It was like the global tea break, but we had it in Second Life. And you go in there with your avatars, and we'd sit in different places, and we'd have like a speaker, and we just talk to each other. So that was just, you had to download. It was very clunky. You had to download stuff, but it was really high end graphics at the time. It was beautiful. It was really unbelievable. And now they're talking about the metaverse. I'm like, I've been in the metaverse already. Like that was Second Life, the metaverse. And
That's
so
right.
I just feel like, there's nothing new in this world. Like things
There
just
is.
coming
That's it.
around.
That's it. Yeah.
So anyway,
I look at Twitter chats, and I remember the IRC, Internet Relay Chat.
I remember that.
IRC.
Okay, now you're going back, guys. Now you're
Oh
going.
my God, my friends did that in college. Like we thought that was so funny. You could pop up on the screen in front, and just like bug people. I did
Okay,
that.
let's just go back to Bebo.
Well, Cami Chat was my AOL screen name. Just so you know.
There you go.
I'm not
Bebo,
giving it up.
blog early, blog often. Bebo.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we are at the end, guys. We are 31. I know people have stuff to do. I do too, but I know you guys do. I cannot believe, and I so am grateful that you're here today. Thank you. I believe it, but I'm just so grateful that you are here. Even though I can't get your country right, I'm gonna actually haze myself for that. Okay, Alan.
Well, I'll just say, Cami, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. And Alan, what a great friend and a great partner you are. And as always, I'm just going to say thank you and give the last words to Alan.
No, thanks. No, it has been. I've really enjoyed this. This has been great, and it's I suppose, in a sense as well, when you start talking about, the global tea break and the network and all that, that you actually start to realize how much we have achieved, and and that's been, as I said, through the community and through Scott and myself, and working tirelessly to keep it going, and it's been a joy, but Cami, thanks so much for inviting us on, and thanks, as always, for a very insightful and informative chat, and always good to see it. And thank you so much for having us here today.
Love you guys so much, and thank you so much. And guys, we will have you back at some point, right? So we'll just talk about when that's going to be. But you are an official part of Social Media Breakfast community now.
Yay.
So dubbed, and we will talk to you soon. And thank you so much. And guys, definitely smbhou.com. Make sure you get on the email list if you're not, so that we can keep you informed of all the cool stuff that we're doing. And check out the new website. Tell me what you think. All right, bye, guys.
Talk to you. Bye.